Also, I was thinking I probably should say it at the beginnings, because I am going to be cutting these into VODs. If you're watching the VOD, I record these live every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central. Right here on the channel. That's to the castle. I haven't gone to the castle again yet. Do we want to see? You know what, we'll start with that. What happens?
Alright, sounds great.
Because we escaped.
Yes.
Do they just not let us in anymore? Yeah, is it really you, Arthur? I could have sworn you hadn't left the castle. How did you get out? I'm sorry, but I was instructed by Sage Sabato not to let you pass. I don't know why, but I've got my orders from Sabato not to let you in. By orders of Sabato, I cannot let you through. Please leave. If you need anything, you're instructed to go to Far East Village. I wonder why. Far East Village is due south from here. They have no connection to the outside world, so I think it's a waste of time to go. But... oh, okay. That's all they have for us.
Hey, it's an axe. I think the axe is what Basso uses.
I think you're right.
I can say that now.
Yeah, no, I won't get cross with you. Yeah, it's way better than his, actually.
Yes.
Okay, do we... okay, there's nothing else here, so...
Not for weapons, that's right. Is there any deals? I'm assuming not.
No, I checked last time.
Okay.
Do we have armor for him? I don't actually know what he wears. Does he wear battle armor?
I say it feels like something he'd wear.
He can, so that's just 5.
Right. So if he wears the same stuff as Arthur, then he'd also wear the bronze armor.
He sure can,
Yeah.
and that's more. Let's give him that.
Yeah. Okay. You've got a fair amount of gold. A fair amount of gold, actually. I'm surprised.
I don't know what else he uses. Is there anything that tells us that? There is not.
Probably just his inventory.
Yeah, let's check
I can also look, right? So I go to heroes on the
Possessions.
closest thing we have to a wiki page.
Oh, right. The shell and the armor are not... They're simultaneous.
Correct.
So we can get him a better shell, too. He also does braces. Okay.
Okay, which we already have that. That's the same braces in the shop. So
Okay.
the better shell is the only other thing he can get.
All right, let's do that. Yeah, going through the mansion is giving us a lot of money quickly.
It is. So how are you doing this week?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. Yes. So that's good.
I assume it's unimaginably hot for you this week. I know it was for us.
Oh, I was saying that already. Like, I got in my car after work today and it said 111.
Not good. Do you prescribe to the crack the windows during the day to keep it cooler philosophy?
No.
Okay.
It is definitely hotter if you do that around here.
Well, I mean, it's certainly in the desert that's not the case. In the desert, it'll get to 130 in your car, but if you crack the windows, it'll help at least a little bit. But if it's going to rain, of course, you get your car wet. I was in the car with somebody from New York the other day, and they were like, "What are you doing?" And I realized that in New York, you'd never do that because it never gets hot enough. But in Arizona, if you don't crack the windows, like, you can't even sit in your seat. You'll burn yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do it sometimes if it's like that, but I'm mostly immune to it at this point, except for if it is just ridiculous. So I know it's to the left. I don't remember exactly where it is. Oh, dang it. I couldn't remember which one it was, but I don't want to fight this thing anymore.
Yeah. I know that I saw in one of the comments, people are very worried that with all of the running, that it's going to end very badly for us later on. We'll see.
I thought it was funny turning on Discord today. They have new settings, and it was like, you should fill out the games that you want, and we'll try and connect you, or the games that you play, and we'll try and connect you with communities for those games. So the only game they had as an option for me. I am now a gamer that exclusively plays Shining Resonance Refrain.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. I can only imagine what that Discord is like.
They had nothing, no suggestions for me, shockingly.
Yeah. I do love how over time we are slowly like absorbing all of the fandom of Shining Force, though. Like not in an active sense, but like whatever that community is, it's all becoming connected either through Discord or through YouTube. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is.
What's wrong?
I'm just fixing that a little bit more because the pixies are cut off, so that tells me where the bottom is a little bit better.
Okay, yeah, I see that now.
There we go. Maybe that's good. We'll leave it like that for a minute. His head is cut off on the painting, but it is on my screen too, so that's perfect. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, so...
Yeah, that looks much better.
We got a key now. Can we go... Oop.
Any red door.
All right, let's start with this.
Okay.
He doesn't auto-use the key. That's interesting. There we go. Oh, I gotta bring up chat and my pixie guide. There we go. Cool. Alright, this is all uncharted territory. We'll mark that there's a hallway there and then we'll go this way. Is this another I gotta move stuff puzzle? There isn't really much of a place for Shining fans to go at the moment. The series is a shell of its former self. Yes and no. I don't want to say that too much until I play some of the newer games. That looks really weird.
So there is a treasure in this room. Oh, there it is. I was gonna say I don't know how to get it, but you found it.
I mean, I just thought that looked weird.
It does. It's great. I mean, I guess it's a volcano. I don't know. The flat top makes me think volcano.
I don't know. It kind of reminds me of the. Oh, she already has that, I suppose. It reminds me a little bit of like the Minecraft like paintings where you're like, why is this here? What is this? And it's because I guess some dev just wanted to. Is that all that's in this room?
Well, I don't know. I don't actually have a guide. I just have a map, so we're just gonna assume yes.
I can't move any of the things, so I'll assume so. All the scuff. It's not that bad, Cat. Not as bad as it usually is. Dang it. I was slow on the pixie uptake, but that's fine. I will speed it up as we go. But yeah, I don't know. I try not to talk down on the Shining games I haven't played, because maybe I'll play Resonance Refrain and I'll just love it, you know? Who knows?
I mean, sure. You know, a lot of game series change, and that doesn't make them worse. I mean, look at Zelda. I know you're not the biggest Breath of the Wild fan, and a lot of people don't like how much it's changed, but like, for a lot of people, it's the best game in the series, even though it is, for all intents and purposes, totally different.
Yes, but I also, like, you say I'm not, like, huge into Breath of the Wild, but I'm not huge into any Zelda games, so, like, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Yeah. Zelda just does not appeal to me for a number of reasons.
Yeah, and that's fine. And I wasn't trying to get onto Zelda. Like, there are lots of other series. I mean, Final Fantasy is a great example of, I won't say that the games are unrecognizable, but like, you know, Final Fantasy VII versus Final Fantasy VII Remake, nobody's going to pretend that those are the same game with just a different coat of paint.
I did.
Nicely done.
Yeah, I can at least see that. I was thinking more about, like, if you were playing, like, Final Fantasy VI, and then you cut to, like, 16, and you're like, yeah, that's the same franchise, I would be like, is it, though?
Right, exactly. But that doesn't mean that it's bad. And so, yeah, Shining Resonance could be great. I have my doubts, but I'm not going to say it's bad just because it's not Shining Force.
I mean, I'll say it's bad because it's not Shining Force 2, but...
I mean, Shining the Holy Ark is very clearly not Shining Force 2 either, but I'm having fun. I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to keep an open mind, because I've really enjoyed all of these games so far. Even Wisdom, I liked the plot of.
Yeah,
even if I didn't like the gameplay quite so much.
sure. Serious Law says he did the thing. I don't know which thing you did, but you did it. Congratulations.
Joking about Shining Force 2.
Probably.
Dang it. Yeah, it's just not worth it to fight these. For that reason.
Yes, I would agree. We just have to hope that they don't get a second Blaze 2 and, you know, we miss another, whatever called. Yeah, that's not so bad.
Yeah. Because if you think about it, too, like, the main stuff I'm retreating from is stuff that is just not worth very much to begin with.
Yes, I would agree. For the amount of challenge, it's not worth the EXP you get.
You didn't expect me to like Shining in the Dark? Why not? Because it's very different.
I would say from everything that I've been reading from Shining Force fans, a lot of people don't like Shining in the Darkness because I guess maybe it's an old school dungeon crawler, which is not for everybody. It says it's a strange beginning of the Shining Force series. I would agree with that.
I would as well.
Although it's only strange because you played the second game first. If you played this one first, then Shining Force is the weird one.
I don't know what possessed me to check that. I just did. But hey, that's a power staff from the earlier games.
Yeah. I'm willing to bet that Melody uses that.
Probably.
I did not have to check a guide for that.
If it's anything like previous games, she uses it.
Yeah. If it's not, you know, if it's her
Yep.
Shining Wisdom, I would say it belongs to Rhodey.
Yeah, that's actually one of the topics that I was going to talk about today was, that's probably fine. How much would people accept this if, like, other franchises did this today? Do you think? Like, if Shining Force did essentially, I'm sorry, the best example I could come up with thinking about this was, if Fire Emblem did, what was it called? Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and was just like, alright, here's Tokyo Mirage Sessions, this is Fire Emblem, like 15 or whatever, or 14.
I'm not even familiar with that game. What was the style?
It was the crossover with Persona, or Shin Megami Tensei.
Oh, that's interesting. That's
Yeah.
a good question.
One of the game directors for Fire Emblem said that he'd always had a dream of making a Pegasus Knight land on top of Tokyo Tower.
Okay.
And doing that in some sort of official capacity. And so he said, with this, I got my dream, and I can move on.
That sounds kind of cool.
The gameplay is definitely something. It's much more Persona than Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
Or Shin Megami Tensei, I don't know. I know more about Persona than I do Shin Megami Tensei. Just through osmosis.
I think Shin Megami Tensei is very similar to Persona if you take away the high school stuff.
Yeah, this has some of the high school stuff.
Oh, interesting. So it's like more maybe like Fire Emblem Three Houses or something?
That was not super fair. This is before Three Houses.
Okay, I need to look this up. Which Fire Emblem did you say it was?
It is Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE.
I have literally never heard of this. For the Wii U, that would explain it. I don't remember anything from the Wii U session. That whole generation on the Wii U was like a blur.
They did put it on Switch as well.
Huh. Well, then I'm really surprised I haven't heard of it. That's interesting.
I have copies for both.
Okay.
I've not played it yet, because it's another one that it's like, do y'all want that on the channel at some point? I have no idea. Or do I want to put it on the channel at some point? Because not a whole lot of Fire Emblem channels have covered it, for obvious reasons.
Right.
But it's always bummed me out that, like, the Fire Emblem channels just kind of ignore parts of the series. that I would want to embrace. Like the Warriors games, like that. It would be like me just ignoring, this game, is what it feels like.
Which, I mean, I don't think people ignore this game, but certainly they ignore Shining Wisdom. And yeah, I agree. You lose part of the series.
Oh, for sure. Let's see. I liked Shining in the Darkness, but I used a guide and sped up. I generally don't like the first-person maze RPGs, but there was enough to it that I had a decent time. We've been here, but... Oh, no, this just connects to a place we've been. What is this?
Yeah, we were here, and I feel like there was a locked door on the other side, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a door you just couldn't open?
I don't know. We'll have to go see.
This is just going to connect back to a hall we've already been to. Not to say that you can't go to it, but...
Yeah, like, I had... That was you doing that with me, wasn't it, Captain?
The what?
Shining in the Darkness.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you kind of put me on bumpers more than just using a guide, but I know that takes, like, another person.
Yes, and I will say...
You probably don't want to go this way, because it'll take 30 minutes, and there is nothing at the end.
Yes, exactly, and it's much easier in this game. First of all, the map always being up is amazing. Second of all, these are just smaller maps, and they're nowhere near as, like, maze-y. Like, this looks like a house. It doesn't look like a labyrinth, whereas everything in Shining in the Darkness was designed to make you feel lost.
Yes. I also am just really patient with, especially Shining games. I've got to get quicker on that. Especially Shining games, I'm pretty patient with, because, like, if you have, like, the Shining branding, there's going to be something that has interesting lore implications, or just something that makes me interested.
Yeah. Well, and from what little I know about this game, it's very little of this game is going to tie into Shining Force 1 and 2, but it will tie quite a bit into Shining Force 3.
Which I'm good with.
Yeah.
Let's see. I like... Oh yeah. Yeah, Persona and Persona Tactica. Yes, I have Persona Tactica on my wish list, but I feel like I am not going to get much out of it without playing, Persona 5.
What does Elemental Magic Mastered mean?
Yeah, I saw that.
Is it a spell?
Yep.
Oh. Alright.
We'll have to see how much that does.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Persona devs are definitely after my own heart, because they have, I messed that up. Oh yeah, that was the middle one. So it's middle left. I'll have to look at it again. The Persona devs are definitely after my own heart, because they have a Warrior spinoff and a SRPG. And those are, like, my two favorite genres, so obviously I'm intrigued.
Yes, I'm in the same boat. At some point, I own both 5 and 5 Tactica. I've played neither one. To play Tactica, everybody I've talked to has said you need to play most of 5, or at least half of 5. And everybody that I've ever seen play 5 said it takes like 100 hours to play through, and so I'm just kind of terrified.
Yes, I feel the same way. Like, I know that's going to be a huge commitment.
Yeah.
But it's
all right,
one
Chadron's saying
to.
The elemental spell is awesome, so we need to try it next battle.
We will. We're not gonna waste MP though. We're gonna save it for something that is deserving.
It does feel like, as long as we're not fighting those Grim Reapers, that we've hit a level and an amount of damage where we're being pretty conservative with our MP. Though we also haven't fought. I know there's tougher enemies coming up. That's all I will say. So, maybe it's good to conserve MP.
I mean, I just had that feeling. There's just enough room for one book.
Okay.
Let's see.
We saw a floating book last
did.
episode. So I'm guessing we have to get the floating book. This is probably like one of the last parts of the
is that the table?
Whatever it's called, of the mansion.
Yeah, it is. Okay. All right. I think the floating book was downstairs.
Yes.
So we'll do that on our way.
Is there anything else upstairs? Are there any like unwalked through passageways?
I'm not sure. We'll double check.
Yeah, right.
To catch up on chat real quick, I feel like the Saturn games in general are ignored in a lot of spaces. SF3 doesn't get talked about as much as it should. Yeah, I think that's just because it was hard to play for a long time. That would be my guess. I was gonna say, like...
Oh, I love it!
Okay! That's awesome!
Yeah!
I'm not used to us having the special breath attack.
I wonder if they've got breath defense against it.
If they do, it doesn't matter.
That's right. So it's funny, on that subject, one of the other things in chat, people are talking about like the animation style. Cake Man was like, I kind of have mixed feelings about the graphics. I like the claymation look, but some of the environments are repetitive. And then Chadron says, because the game makes you look at the map and go to menu so much, the environments don't seem that repetitive. I'm kind of in the middle. I kind of agree. There's a lot of very repetitive caves and forests in this game. I love this mansion, though. This is a great change of pace.
Yes, I agree. And it feels very Shining to me, because that's, like, what Shining Force is to me. We have stuff like Desktop Kingdom and stuff. Why would we not have a haunted mansion in the middle of the forest? I forgot Kiwi had a breath attack, because he sucked.
That's harsh but fair.
Hot take, I know. Steel suit.
I think Rhodey uses suits.
You would be right. 9 more
Awesome.
defense for Rhodey. Cool.
We'll take it.
Basso is very cool. And I'm very curious. I don't want the answer. Because it's spoilers, but I'm assuming that some of this is dealt with in the Gaiden games or CD, because I'm not crazy, right? Elliot said he was like the last dragon man, and I get that this is a dragon warrior or something, and maybe not a dragon newt, but like there sure seems to be more of them. Or maybe Basso is like a lizard man? I don't know. I don't really know what he is.
I'm trying to think what character, if any, in the series is comparable. I don't know. I think whenever I see him, I immediately think of like the Kremlings from Donkey Kong, which is a totally different series.
Yes. In the edit of the VOD, I showed the exact one I thought you were talking about. And he also might be in the thumbnail of this video right now.
Oh yeah? Well, now I'm gonna have to go look.
The thumbnail was having some weird issues.
I heard. I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
Yeah, and people's recommended, mine included, it was showing as like I didn't set a thumbnail. So I was like, well, I'll go change it and then change it back. And so I went to, I was at work, so I went to download the old thumbnail, because you can do that. And it told me that it didn't have one.
Huh.
But it would show up on the channel. Like, if you went specifically to the channel and to the live tab, it had the proper thumbnail. So, I don't know what was going on with that.
Well, I can't tell looking at the thumbnail. It's too small on my screen, but I'm going to take your word for it that you found the right one. There's only like 5 of them, so odds are that if you looked for them, it couldn't have been that hard to find the right one.
It was Crusher.
Yes, that's, yeah, the big muscular one.
Yup. I wanted to put some little Easter eggs in the thumbnail because I thought it would be fun.
Yeah, it's great.
Dragon Newts are basic enemies in some of the Gaiden games, so the whole last Dragon Newt thing is questionable. So I wonder why he says that. They retcon that. Apparently Nova is one as well in SF1. Though I read about a fan theory that it's a mistranslation about him being a Dragon Knight or something, but it's prob hogwash. Yeah, I do not subscribe. That looked nutty. I don't subscribe to the idea that Nova and Elliot are the same race. That, to me, doesn't make any sense. Oh, hello.
I would agree.
I decided to just check out the rest of upstairs because we only had one hallway we hadn't been down.
Yeah, and I think I'm looking at the map, and that's true. There was only one other place that I had seen that we had missed.
Oh, I forgot. He's got
Right.
this nonsense.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
I'm just glad it doesn't work very often.
Like, I get there's, like, racial disparities and stuff, but, like, I'm willing to accept different colors. I don't know that I'm willing to accept that, like, Nova definitely seems like aquatic a little bit to me.
Really? I guess, like, what kind of aquatic?
Just his ears. They look like fins. Or, like, they're definitely a little finny. Yeah, Nova's race is clearly fish goat, man. Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess I've really never looked at his ears, but you're right. Those are very fin-like. I've always been sort of distracted by his, like, weird whisker hairs.
So, yeah, I'm like... I would fully bet that that is a mistranslation, because that just doesn't make any sense. And we all know, if nothing else, the lore of the Shining World is extremely tight and consistent.
Right. I mean, I don't technically disagree. I will say his artwork for Resurrection of the Dark Dragon looks an awful lot like what if you put a beard on blue. I may just send you these images side by side. Like,
we
have a puzzle.
What
is that?
There's a statue of Zod holding a bottle of holy water. Do you want to take it? Sure.
Why do I feel like this is gonna get a
Thank
boss
you.
fight?
No, we'll use it in a boss fight. So this is... Huh. So that's Zod, huh? That's who the churches are dedicated to?
I guess so.
I know most people will just, like, move on, but I'm just, like, thinking about this for a second. Like, so... I wonder if that's what it says in Japanese, for starters, because there's lots of messing with the religions of Shining Force in the localization. But I'm like, is this who they worship across Rune, or is this just two totally separate religions?
That's a good question. Does Zod come up in any game before this?
Unless it comes up in CD or Gaiden or any of those, no.
I didn't think so. Okay, so Teodrin is, yeah. I could not find the hints from the skeleton when I went to Google, so I don't remember them at all. I can try to find them again, or I imagine somebody in chat will just have them memorized, but I'll see what I can do.
I've got them memorized. He said, don't eat pizza after midnight, and make sure to do your cardio, and don't skip leg day, and play Shining Force 3. I think that was his advice.
That checks out.
So where do we think this floating book was?
It's one of the bottom corners, either bottom left or bottom right. I don't remember which. I think it was bottom left, yeah. No, well, so I'm just looking at the
furniture.
If you look at I'm looking at there's a passageway that's already off the side of both of those bottom rooms.
Mm-hmm.
I think we opened passageways in both of them. So my guess is it's actually probably in one of the two rooms there in the middle where there's white squares but no like passageway off of them. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree. I think there were two tables in there, and there's two tables on the right one, so we're gonna go right.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good guess. All right.
Hey. All right, can we take this now? No.
No.
What if I surprise it from behind? What? Is that not a good idea?
I mean, I don't think there's any harm in it. I just love the idea that you think that the game has that kind of hit detection.
I mean, the book did just bounce off of me, I think.
Yeah. Huh.
So maybe I've just got to keep it doing that? I don't know. This game is a vast improvement to Shining in the Darkness. Yes. Yes, it is, but I don't know how much that's just we're on the Saturn now and we can do more things now. We have fancier toys now. So if I run into it... No, that doesn't matter. Okay, I guess we just keep exploring other... Use the water? Oh. I could try. That would have taken me a little while.
Well, I mean, it would have taken you a while if you had remembered the skeleton's clues. I'm sure he said something about water on a book, because that's very intuitive.
I guess things are moving. There we go. Yeah. Give me a little bit. Give me a little bit longer next time, but thank you.
I love this walkthrough of Shining the Holy Ark. This is what we call kind of the best options that we have. It says, this is from back in the sewers, the dungeon that we were in. After going through the caves, you'll go to the castle and be thrown in jail. Doyle will break you out and you will head for the sewers. Use the crystal you find on the door and find the pieces for the walls to open paths. After this, you will get the key to the ghost house.
Okay.
That's the entirety of the walkthrough for that entire dungeon that we spent last week working on for like an hour.
See, because I don't like spoilers, that is fine with me.
But did it help you at all? I mean, you have to go through the dungeon. At the end of the dungeon, you will get a key. Like, I don't know. It's okay. Ultimately, there are no answers to any of these clues. So we're on our own, or we're with chat.
We've never killed one of these, so we're gonna kill this one.
I like it. Let's try the elemental spell, maybe.
Oh yeah, you're smart. That makes sense. It is definitely worthy.
It looks like it's like planetary.
Here we go. The zoom. What? That's crazy looking.
Of all of the things that I pictured would happen if you cast an elemental spell, it was not that.
It was not a genie shouting in your ear.
It was not an enormously chested green dude like breathing on you. No, it was not that.
Yeah, it does. It does remind me of the SF2 sorcerers. That's very cool. Thank you for DMing me the skeleton hints. I probably should check those. We'll do that real fast. So, I'll just throw it in chat for you guys. Oh yeah, I see your, yeah, he does look like he would be the same race as Blue, huh?
Yeah, isn't that weird? So I sent the pictures over to Nihil over Discord, but like, you know, Shining Force Resurrection of the Holy Dragon.
Resurrection of the Holy Dragon? I've not played that.
Oh, yeah. Resurrection of Dark Dragon. Yeah, and there aren't even holy dragons, are there? There's just sacred dragons.
Real quick, let me read this so I can close it again. The hidden path in the mansion can be opened with a furniture switch. The power of the invisible spirits can be calmed with holy water. Okay, that's helpful. By doing so, the book will be yours. Well, okay, yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. When the non-ticking hand says tea time, and if the Grey Knight, who challenges everyone to a duel, can be made to serve, then the ruler's door will be opened from the bed of the dead. So we've done all these things, I think. I don't know if we did the furniture switch, but I think the next thing is the non-ticking hand needs to say tea time.
Yes, and we saw a clock.
Yes, and a way to move it.
A way to move it? What does that mean, a way to move it?
We saw the spot on the wall.
Oh, okay.
We'll keep looking around and see what else we find here. But I'm sorry, what were you saying about Blue?
Yeah, so Resurrection of the Holy Dragon. It's such an interesting game. Like, it doesn't exactly retcon things, but it does bring in things that were more, I guess, implied in the original game. And so this artwork kind of feels the same thing, where it's like in the original game, you don't look at Nova and think dragon, but then with the new art, he's been redrawn to basically look just like blue, which is weird.
Yeah, I don't know where Resurrection sits like in canonicity to me. My approach to it thus far has been the things that are cool are canon and the things that are lame are not.
So like the new Gunt's portrait where he's not an armadillo, but he's just a dude with a weird skin condition. You're not about that.
I don't remember that.
I just remember Gunt's looks terrible in Resurrection.
I think I remember what he looks like, but I didn't think he looked that bad. But I think most of the characters do not look good. In that, the way that Daniel and I talked about it on our podcast way back in the day was that it was like they just kind of made everybody more handsome, whether or not it helped their design.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's got to be something in here, because this was a locked door. And my RPG senses tell me that we don't lock doors for no reason.
Where are we on the map? Okay.
Shining the Dark arc. Ah, yes, the prequel to Shining Force Resurrection of the Holy Dragon. There we go. That's all that's in here?
Looks like it.
Oh, that's kind of odd.
That's all right. Have we been ever on the first floor too? No, there's stuff in that corner up there that we haven't been to.
Yeah, left corner.
And down there. Yeah, there's a few things.
Yeah, we'll go there next. We've got the book now, though, so we can go back upstairs when we're ready.
Yes, agreed.
Dang it, I've got to get faster on the pixies again. I do have to say I'm with Nihil that I like the guy not just telling me all the answers to the puzzles. Yeah, I do like to figure stuff out as much as I can by myself. Like, I'll ask for help if I need it, but I do appreciate sometimes just the slight nudge. Either that or you telling me things like you can, spoilers, you can strafe. And that is a mechanic that is needed for a total of one puzzle. I'm like, okay, I never would have figured that out. Because it's a mechanic that I guess I've had access to the whole time that I do not need.
Was this in one of Chadron's games?
That's in this.
In this? We can strafe?
Yeah, how do we do it? I don't remember how to do it.
Okay.
But he let me know that, like, there's gonna be a time that you need to do that, and, like, you will never do it otherwise any other time, so just know that that is a thing you can do.
That is nuts.
I've definitely had that before in games where it's like, I get really frustrated, especially, you know, back before we could just check stuff on the internet, or, like, I could watch a Let's Play or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to fight another of these. One was enough.
Are you familiar with the Batman Forever game on the Super Nintendo?
No.
Okay, it's kind of infamous because there's a scene in like the fourth or fifth room of the game, so less than 10 minutes in, where the only way to move forward is to hold the select button and then press another button on the controller.
And there's nothing that indicates this.
Right, there's no instructions, right? And especially, like, as a kid, I remember getting it, like most kids in the 90s, from the video store where there are no instruction manuals. So, like, the amount of time you just have to sit there mashing buttons before finally you just think to hit the select button and then, like, the R button or something like that. It's just... And so Angry Video Game Nerd has a whole video about how stupid that one room is.
Yeah, that sounds dumb.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, it drives me nuts when there's, like... any game that hits you with a mechanic that you've just never had to use. I think I've brought it up before, but one of the Naruto games, it's almost like a Warriors game. I remember playing that growing up on the PSP, and at one point your party, it is pretty difficult, and at one point your party changes to like Sasuke's party, and I was like, okay, this has been ratcheted up to a new level. Like, I would have to hit this guy over 1,000 times, and it's a basic enemy. Like, what am I not understanding? And it turns out there was a level up mechanic the entire time that I just had not been using and had no idea. It was a mandatory level up thing, like, or not mandatory, manual. You go in and assign skill points and stuff, and I just had never done it because there was nothing that ever told me it existed. It was buried. I think it was in, like, options or something. It was like, why would I go into options to look for party progression? But it was very stupid. But yeah, after I realized that I was gonna be like 1,000 hits for a regular enemy, I just was like, alright, there's gotta be some fundamental game mechanic that I am completely ignorant to. Because this just doesn't feel right. Darn. So what is it? I need to go over my order again. Because that's what was helping with the Pixies last time. But yeah, that's the worst I've found in a game, I think. The questionable UI design of Engage. Surely it cannot be as bad as that. Also, I didn't, I posed the question, we got off track, because Captain had never even heard of it. But how would you guys feel if, like, God, that's cool. His roar was awesome. How would you guys feel if, something like Tokyo Mirage Sessions came out? And let's say it was, more fantasy than, like, modern day. But if that came out, and they were like, yeah, that's Fire Emblem 15, what would y'all... Would y'all be like, cool, we're switching it up a little? Or would y'all be like, this is dumb, and I hate it?
Alright, I'm back.
Ah, hello. Did you hear my question?
No, what's your question?
I said, we got a little off track, but where I was going before was, how would y'all feel if Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and let's say that it was more fantasy to keep it a little closer, how would y'all feel if that came out, and Nintendo was just like, yep, that's Shining Force, or I'm sorry, Fire Emblem 15. That just is the next Fire Emblem. It's Persona now. Not forever. We're just doing this for a game.
It feels like that's becoming more and more common.
You think?
Yeah, just crossover genres and like, hey, this genre is popular, so we should totally make a game like that. I don't know how I'd feel. I'm trying to think. Like, I mean,
because I'm into like the Warrior stuff, and
yeah.
I would consider that like the next. I know people don't, but I'm like, I considered Three Hopes as like kind of mainline. Probably, I've not played it, which definitely could make that change. But it's, you know, all the Three Houses stuff, so like, why not?
Right, that makes sense to me.
You'd play Shining the Holy Emblem. Emblem the Holy Ark, whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. How? Of course, that's what this is.
I will just say before we leave this room, there is something else in this room.
I was gonna search those boxes.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that before, a stack of boxes like that before, so definitely search-worthy. Fire Emblem Engage definitely has one really egregious, why is option A under menu B? Oh, I love it.
I actually have no idea what he's talking about in that case. I'm really interested to find out, like, what he's talking about when I assume you guys play that someday.
It might be what's after Holy Ark.
Mm-hmm.
Because these are the two most requested series for the channel right now, was Holy Ark and Engage. And if you guys remember, I let chat decide at one point what was going to be next, and y'all all almost unanimously picked Holy Art.
It was a good call.
I agree. But sometimes I also overrule you guys, and that's why we get things like Sin Bears, which is beautiful.
He says, Tyler says the stuff under reference. So in other words, it's a menu that I never in my life checked, which explains why I don't know what he's talking about.
Iron Shell. So we use stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but it's worse. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's just worse. So that's just money. I'm gonna assume that there's nothing from this side as well. Okay, no. Let's see. I think it'd be cool if I'm doing games like that, but not as like a numbered entry. Like SF1, 2, 3 don't get sidelined by Holy Art coming out between 2 and 3. I guess that's true. But this just definitely feels like, like Wisdom very much finishes the story of 2. Or it ties into it very hard.
Yeah, that's true.
So it makes me feel like these games are the next parts, you know? Well, this is suspicious. There's nothing interesting about it.
So what's interesting here is not in the room, it's somewhere else.
I'm guessing we gotta do something, and then this will do something. We'll come back to that. So we need to go back upstairs.
What about the other paintings?
Oh. Thank you.
Of course.
A succubus named Orlia was found. And a succubus named Orlia joins the group. A lot of people hoped Octopath Traveler would be called Final Fantasy XVI. Yeah, it feels like we're not going back to pixel stuff as much as people like me want it. There we go. Alright, we're gonna try it. Well, they do so much damage. We'll try and fight these guys. See how it goes. We do a lot to them now.
And especially if we use, like, Rhodey's spells.
Yeah, this is the annoying bit of fighting them. Yeah, I don't... Oh, great, 2 of those. I don't know about Octopath Traveler. Like, it's been on my wish list on Steam for a while. But all of my friends that have played it have been very disappointed by it.
Really? I've heard good things about it. I mean, it's very old school, but I've heard for an old school game, it was quite good.
I think I was talking to Daniel about it at one point, and he was like, you know, I just expected the stories to, like, connect, and they really don't. It's kind of like 8 unconnected stories, which just... I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but he's like, it was just really not what I thought it was gonna be.
That's interesting. That's definitely not... I guess I haven't necessarily heard that that's not true. But I feel like if that were true, there would be more complaining about it. But maybe there isn't, I just missed it.
Final Fantasy hasn't been pixel stuff since, like, FF6. There's 0 chance they'd go back to that. Yeah, it does seem that way, unfortunately. I think the only one that's, like, really still supporting it is Dragon Quest. Because I saw that, I don't know if it's on all the versions, but on, like, the Switch version, you can play Dragon Quest XI entirely in pixel art. They recreated the entire game and allow you to toggle back and forth between the 3D style and the 2D pixel art.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Tells you that they really care about what they're doing.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow. Okay, so there was a room you guys that you went into while I was gone. What did we find in that room?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't remember.
because it was I remember there was a door at the bottom of the map, and I was just looking at the map, and you've done it now. It's the one with the 2 boxes down there.
I don't remember. I think we found what we needed.
Okay, but you don't know what it was?
I forget.
Okay.
Short-term memory. I heard in Octopath 2 they connect better. I've also heard that.
Okay.
Which is smart, you know, if your players thought it was going to be one way, then just fix it in the sequel. I also didn't finish another thought from earlier. I'm being very scattered tonight. Sorry about that. I think the one coming up is the book room.
I think that's right, yes.
But yeah, it bothers me that, like, the Fire Emblem YouTubers, like, I wanted to look up how people felt about, the DLC campaign for Fire Emblem Fates, and, like, none of them have played it.
They've just not played the DLC?
Yeah, none of the, like, big Fire Emblem content creators played it.
Interesting.
And it, like, has massive implications for the story, but a lot of them have said, like, I just don't care about the DLC, so I just don't play it. But I'm like, I don't know, like, it's your job as a YouTuber to me, like, you can do whatever you want. Alright, I know where that goes. You can do
key, I can imagine.
whatever you want, but, like, I don't know, I want to know what you think about stuff.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like, if it's really a job, then there's like an obligation, but if it's not really a job, then I don't know, I can feel empathy for somebody who's like, I just don't really feel like it.
Yeah. I don't think anybody should cover things they don't want to. It just is the, like, I don't understand why you don't want to, kind of.
Yeah. Side note, I was chatting with a coworker today who explained to me that because they were born outside of the United States, that the entire concept of saying I feel like it is completely foreign to them. Like, that's not a thing outside of English. And it's like, what does that mean you don't feel like it?
Really?
I thought it was interesting, yeah.
I've said a group of my friends speaks Arabic. I'll have to ask them if that is a thing. Because they all have all sorts of expressions that are different, but they've never called me on that one. What's with games on the PS1/Saturn era that have you exploring mansions? Is that a common trope that I am unaware of? I never owned a PS1, so I haven't played so many PS1 games.
Well, you've got Resident Evil. You've kind of got Devil May Cry.
I saw a great Resident Evil post the other day that said, I'll sum up every Resident Evil, like, log entry for you in one go. And it says, I've created a praying mantis with AK-47s for arms, and we've kept it caged, and Bill's been poking it for 30 hours a day. I hope it never escapes. Turn the page. It has escaped.
I mean, that's pretty much every game, right? Like, you know, people love the audio logs in, like, BioShock, but basically all the audio logs are, oh my gosh, this place is a total utopia. Okay, so one of the people yesterday did something that was kind of weird, but it's okay, it's still a utopia. And the next day, so what's his name just killed somebody. What are we gonna do? And then, you know, by the third or the fifth one, it's like, everybody's dead. There's blood on all the walls. People are screaming, and I'm curled up in a ball, and I don't know what to do. How did this happen?
So it's currently 3 o'clock.
Is tea time 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock? Do people in Japan know what tea time is? Should I look up what time Japanese tea time is?
Let's just use the thing and see what happens, and then if it wants more input from me, we'll have to... Let's figure out what tea time is. There's a sound of a door being locked. Oh, is it just running there? What? That's so cool looking.
Yeah.
It is having me look at this. I'm not doing that. Hello?
Okay, so this is the Gray Knight. This is the last clue, and so the
that's a
last
boss
clue
fight.
is
Because he
Oh,
wants
is it?
to duel everyone.
Yeah, and it was the Grey Knight who wants challenged everyone to duel.
Oh
Can be made to serve.
my gosh. It's so cool! Time Warrior. Okay. Let's... Okay. I doubt this will work, but we're gonna try it.
Yes.
I forget what support does. Is that speed? Or is it
Let me
attack?
find out. I think it's definitely not attack, but let me find out exactly what it is. Support is, of course, it's defense and speed. So yeah, it's like quick.
Okay. That's not that useful as a single target. I think we elemental. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you guys ever really want me to cover stuff too, to end that thought that has taken me way too long, I'll cover it. I'll cover every shining thing, and yeah, if you guys ever, if you ever want to see something, just tell me. He aimed at Basso. Okay, and then he struck Basso at the end of the turn. Interesting.
But only for 30 damage. Feels like if that's all it is, then it's underwhelming, but maybe there's more to it.
Yeah, that's not too bad. We're just gonna go all in. I'm gonna assume he's immune to sleep. Although the last boss was not. But that boss also, we've seen as a regular enemy now. So maybe he's coded as a regular enemy. Oh, he's got Bolt or Spark. Oh, that hurt.
Yeah, wow, that's rough.
Ha! We've got elements too. Oh. Alright. Whoops. We're going to take this turn to kind of heal up here.
Seems wise.
So, what do you have?
Spider Thread might lower defense.
Yeah, that's true. We could try. Yeah, we'll just do that. She can do it on herself. Alright. Let's make Basso not die. Hopefully he's not immune to this. Ah.
Bummer.
Alright, party's not dying yet. Oh my gosh. Well, that's not good.
No, especially since we can't revive.
Mm-mm. Okay, let's heal Basso a little more. Basso, you do that, and then we'll heal Arthur. Support is defense and speed, okay. Either way, we cannot Spider Thread again.
No, we cannot.
Ow. Ow.
A lot of double hits. But she can heal. She can heal to herself, and that'll be fine.
Yeah.
Assuming that he doesn't go. Okay, yeah. So assuming the boss doesn't go first.
Wouldn't be shining if bosses didn't double turn you.
That's right.
Oh good, he's attacking Arthur. Arthur should take that like a champ. Wow.
The power of high defense, which unfortunately Rhodey does not have.
Oh, I was saying that, like, even with Arthur, Arthur's been taking like a 1 from everything. So the fact that he took that much.
Oh, yeah.
Ah. That's super dangerous.
Yes, it is. I say we talk about the influence this game clearly has on Golden Sun. which is the other Camelot game that came after this. There's a spell in that game that's very similar. It's, instead of being called Spark, it's called Plasma, but one of the levels of the spell is called Spark Plasma, and it's basically the same thing but purple.
I see. I might have to play the Golden Sun games on here at some point.
Graphically, they're wonderful.
I know I'm going to do some of the other Camelot ones, because they weirdly tie into Shining stuff. Yeah, we're going to spend one more turn doing heals. We're a little bit spinning our wheels, but that's okay. We're doing a hit with a Basso each turn.
Yes. I agree. It's better than nothing.
So, we have the MP, I believe, to outlast him.
Yeah, we've got a ton.
Unless he's got just a billion HP. Alright, sweet. Yeah, we'll pass this time. And we'll just keep
But you wouldn't give
healing,
her aura.
I know. I assume you get it at some point, I just don't have it yet.
I did notice, I won't give too many details because it was kind of a spoiler. Somebody in the chat did mention eventually we won't get revives at the end of battle.
Oh.
So that's exciting.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, I think we're leveled enough that we're gonna be okay. It's just gonna take some time.
Yes, as long as it doesn't, like, it seems like the RNG of what does he choose to do each turn has a lot to do with it too. Like, if he chooses to use Spark 2 or 3 turns in a row, that's kind of going to be the end.
Yeah, that would definitely hurt us pretty bad. But anything else is pretty okay. Really like the first Golden Sun. Second one felt like more of the same, but not as good. Haven't played the third. Wish they would have spun it into an SRPG. That would be funny. Spinning Shining into this, and then spinning that is Shining ultimately in the end. Alright. You fix up Basso. Basso attack. You fix up Arthur. Oh, so Basso already will not revive at the end of combat. That's good to know before I get screwed by that.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think we just keep that up. I've only played Golden Sun Dark Dawn, and I've been told that makes me a second-class citizen.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Hello, David Morgan. I don't know if I've seen you in chat before. Welcome. We have time. He's not wrecking us again yet. I could guess, but we're just gonna elemental. Oh, it's fine. We got it.
Perfect. First try. Well done.
Thank you. See, we don't have to grind. We're good.
Ooh, steel sword.
I should have said something cool after we defeated him, like, it's tea time.
That's cool.
You don't think so?
Just kidding. You could have gone with the classic and been like, it's clobbering time.
That's not cool.